So hello and welcome to another Valorant video. Today we're going to be talking about Chamber and Chamber's best defensive setups for his rendezvous, his teleport locations on each map. We're going to do one on each map. I will say that, if you want to master Chamber and play Chamber to the highest ability, you probably should have multiple setups, but it's very easy for Chamber to come up with very simple ones. You can basically just pick something like this, where you go for an aggressive angle and a safe angle, and these are perfectly fine. But the ones I'm going to show you today are a bit different than this. It's not just like one is aggressive, one is safe. We're kind of going for more of a kind of all-encompassing strategy where both can be aggressive and safe. That's what I'm going to show you today, or try to show you. It's not perfect for every map, but I do have some very good locations on some maps, or at least I think so. Anyway, and what is the problem with this? Why don't I like the setup? And this isn't a bad setup, by the way. This is really not a bad setup to just have one aggressive, one safe. It's perfectly fine. It's absolutely fine. But the problem sometimes can be is you peek this angle, right? You don't get a kill, but there are people there. You teleport away, you whiffed or whatever. You teleport away to the back here, but then the opponents just kind of go. They kind of go and they're kind of expecting that this will be in a very safe location that you've teleported to, and they smoke this off, and you feel a bit like, oh, I can't really get out. I guess we're playing 5v5 retake, and you give up a lot of space. Sometimes this can be the problem, right? Is that you give up a lot of space and territory by teleporting to a very safe location back away. And if you're playing against people who also play Chamber or understand probably what setup you're going for, then, you can run into problems when you're playing against better players. And so what I wanted to create for you is some setups here that kind of forego this and allow you to do something a bit different. I still want them to be in safe locations. Obviously, you don't want to be teleporting somewhere where you're obviously going to die, but it still allows for aggressive peaks on both of the teleports, which we'll get into why that can be pretty good for you, and also allows you to potentially make attacks disjointed. A well-run attack generally will mean that, the players are approaching, like, let's say they're getting out of B main, and also an attack is coming from here, right? It's coming from market. That is what a good attack looks like, is an attack from market, an attack from B main, kind of coming together at the same time, coming from different angles at the same time. The thing is, what you can potentially do as Chamber is you can say to these people, have B main, right? Let's say you've teleported away from B main. You give them this, but then anyone who's potentially coming up here, you say, no. You don't get to live, you don't get to play, and we'll play the 5v3 retake or whatever it might be, right? That's kind of what these situations, these teleport locations that I'm going to give you, that's what they're kind of there for, is to say, okay, I'll give you that, but I'm not giving you this. And, we're going to play aggressive towards a different angle. Because if you have to give up space, you probably then want to be aggressive towards another space. That's generally how you want to work it, is if you're giving something up, you want to be pushing somewhere else so that, you can kind of play a surprise element and things like that. So that's what these setups are kind of for. And for this map, Ascent, what I'm going to suggest is something like this and one here in market. And the reason that these are both good teleport locations, if we get rid of the Chamber, is they both allow you to play aggressive angles. You can peek B main with this. You can peek all of mid. You can come all the way down here with mid. You can even get the ult potentially and get very aggressive and TP out if anyone comes to try and get you. You can do all of that and play aggressive. They're both relatively safe locations. You might wonder if this is truly safe, but really if they're getting to like here and are spamming you through it, then, something should have been done about this player who's just standing in the middle of B main, right? So they're both relatively safe locations as well, but both keep you well within the action. Let's say you are playing towards B main, you coming down here, people come round, you have a fight, whether you win, well, you won't lose, obviously, but let's say you don't get the kill, you TP out, but then what this allows you to do is if they do come at you, you're not out of the picture. You can either come back to market and still be well within range of actually getting a fight, or you can come and play aggressive to mid. And if the round goes a bit slower, then you can start to use your TP again to still be aggressive. You can still be aggressive with this TP. If the round, goes a bit slower, someone takes B main for you, or there was someone else there covering for you, maybe there was a player in market here that was helping cover B main and they just didn't enter B main, well, then you can start to play aggressive on mid once that 20 seconds is up and just do the same again and be very aggressive without having to move your teleports at all. So it becomes a more simplistic thing as well, that you don't have to move them to continue to be aggressive. So this is the setup that I personally like for Ascent, and I think that you can probably use it pretty well to your advantage as well. And, you know, without even moving your teleports at all, you'll be able to find a lot of aggressive peaks and a lot of aggressive kills, and still feel like you can teleport to a pretty safe location. Okay, next up is Bind, and what we're doing on Bind is putting one in this corner here, and then one in U-Haul. And the reason that we are going to do that is that, again, we can aggressive peek towards here, shower, and still get out nice and safe, nice and early. We can still get out. That's all very well and good, and obviously this is a very safe location. But then again, let's say 20 seconds runs off, we can come here and start playing aggressive towards short as well, and still get out for free as well. And so we get to be aggressive multiple times. But again, as I say, if we're giving up space, let's say we start showering, we teleport away, and we've given up that space, well, then we can start to be aggressive towards this. You know, we can start to help out our players on short and maybe stop and disjoint again that attack, so that sure, you know, maybe one gets through showers, but if all his teammates are stuck back here, well, he's probably going to die because he's on his own, right? Like, that's the beauty of this kind of system, is that yes, you are going to give up space, but you're going to be aggressive towards others as well. And again, you can use this as, you know, you can switch it up. You can keep the same setup, but switch it up. And this is a very safe location because, of course, your opponents have to be all the way on site to actually be able to see this. So you should be good there as well, with, you know, feeling pretty safe to teleport back across. You should be absolutely fine, and you should be finding yourself, you know, doing pretty well with this kind of setup again. Okay, now let's go to Breeze, and one location I love is behind the box. Now, there isn't really, because Breeze is such a big map, there isn't really this great, like, double aggressive thing that you can really do on this map, but I do really love this as one location. And the other locations that you could do could either be out here, or an aggressive one towards cave as well. You can either do this aggressive one towards cave. Obviously, the problem with this one is, you know, this is a risky teleport to go from one to the other. But one that you can do, and I do kind of like, is over here. Because this will be a safe teleport. And these two are very good teleport locations in general. And the reason for that is obviously you can start here and, you know, be aggressive towards cave. And often this is kind of a one and done angle. But obviously with chamber, you can just get out and feel safe in doing so and get to a really quite a safe location behind this box. But what I love about this box is you can come onto the stairs, and the steps are a really good position to play from because you can guard short pretty well from the stairs. You can guard a main pretty decently from the stairs as well, and obviously you're right next to the door as well, so if anything goes on there, you're in a good location for all three. And again, if that timer ticks down, you can be on the stairs and get back over here. And again, this will be relatively safe from any attacks from short. If they have come through the door, this is a pretty good location to be in. And again, all you'll have to worry about is over here towards cave. And so if you're over here on stairs, you'll probably have a good understanding of how far into the site they are from here. So you'll know if it's a safe teleport or not. And so I really like this setup as well. Think it's really good. Should lead to a lot of success for you. Obviously, you can play around on the boxes. It just doesn't have to be on the stairs as well. And you should be doing pretty well with this setup as well. As I mentioned, you could make this more of an aggressive one if you wanted to. My only issue with that, as I mentioned, was this is going to be a pretty risky teleport to ever come from here up to here. But maybe it could be, you know, it can work sometimes. I'm sure if you have good information that no one's in cave, then, you know, it probably will work for you as well. Okay, moving on to Fracture, and the one on Fracture that I personally like is putting one in this corner and putting one just within range of it there on this part of the B site. And the reason that I like this, again, you can go and get very aggressive towards up all of here, but this is obviously a very safe location, but doesn't leave you too far away from being able to get back onto site and back in the action. And the same is true of this one on B. You know, you can be, again, very aggressive towards B main here, and again, you'll teleport over to a safe location. Both are very safe. Both allow you to peek aggressive angles. You're not going too far away at all. And again, it works very well, I think, for this map, these two teleport locations. This is one that I really, really like because I really love sneaking up here. And you can just get really aggressive on people. And you can, you know, chase them. You know, if someone's here and they start running back, you can still just chase them around here and still try and kill them. And still all the time being, you know, able to teleport away. So it really does work pretty well. And yeah, this is a very good setup, I think. Moving on to Haven, and I personally like this one towards the A site with a teleport, something like this. You could put it in the corner if you wanted to, but I actually think this is probably a bit safer actually in the middle. And then something like this in this A to B link area. And the reason that I like this is because, again, you can be very aggressive here. You can be very aggressive on both angles of A, which is really, really, really good. So let's take, for instance, if you are being aggressive here and you start firing shots and you get a kill or something, you teleport over here. The good news about that is that because where this location is, you should have the time to get back onto site before they've been able to run all the way onto site. Even if they sprinted, you should get there before they do. And so that's kind of the advantage of that, is that this is still a good location. You might think, well, is this safe of a location? But you have to remember that the times that you're actually teleporting to this one are the times that you're actually peeking on short. So if you're peeking on short, they're going to be here. So I wouldn't worry about them pushing you from short, because you should be fighting on short anytime that you're actually teleporting to this teleporter. So that should be fine for you as well. But the thing that you have to consider is if, you know, your teammate, for whatever reason, I guess this is possible. You know, it is possible potentially that, you know, your teammate has given up, but you should understand that, and you should know that if your teammate has died here, you know, and time has expired, that maybe, you know, this isn't the safest teleport, and then you should maybe try and get aggressive. Obviously, that's up to your judgment of what's been going on in the round, but I do think that this is still a pretty safe teleport location. And obviously, again, you can use it if, you know, you get pushed back from this one without teleporting, so you just get pushed back instead. You know, don't worry about it, because then you still have the safe teleport from this angle instead. You know, you can play in this corner maybe and still teleport away, and it's still there for you. So I really like this one as well. Both pretty safe, allow you to peek a lot of different angles and be kind of creative with it as well. And you'll probably find a bit of success with this setup. Now let's move to ICEBOX. And ICEBOX, really, all I can say to you is there isn't necessarily one good setup for ICEBOX, but I would say just go crazy on A. Like, just go crazy with it. You can do so much, and really this is, I think, what you should be doing is, like, you know, just go crazy with it. Put one on the top here, put one, you know, put one in a safe location like that. I think that this is more of the one where you want to be playing one aggressive, one safe. I think that that's just going to treat you better, because that's the way ICEBOX works. That's why Reina is popular on this map at the pro level, because that's what happens. You could put one in here as well if you wanted to, which could work pretty well for you. I mean, you can even, you know, you could even do something stupid like put one in here, peek this. You know, if they spot you, drop down, come around here, and then try and shoot them from below as well, and then teleport away. You know, you can do so much weird stuff on ICEBOX, and that's what I'd be saying is put one in an aggressive spot. You know, maybe over here in this corner is another good corner to play as well. You know, maybe behind screens is your safe place. Put one in aggressive, put one in a safe, because that's just the way ICEBOX works, and that's probably the most success you'll find on Chamber on this map. And then finally we come to Split, and my advice for Split is to put one towards here and one at the bottom of here. And the reason for that, and sometimes as well, what you might want to do is put like a trademark here. And this in general is something that you might think about doing, is putting trademarks sort of near your teleport. So if you know they're safe, it's kind of an interesting way of doing it. For instance, that one on Haven, maybe you put a trademark on B so that you know whether anyone has crossed in towards B. You'll know that. Yeah, all good things to know whether your teleports are safe. It's something that you can do, and putting them still in areas that, you know, are helping you and giving you information. You know, you could put things like this or this, for instance, right? Putting your trademarks towards your teleports is also not a bad option either. But why do I like this? Well, again, you can get aggressive towards here. You can get aggressive towards mid, and safely teleport to both locations. Now, these are a bit disjointed, which is why I mentioned the trademarks. But one other thing you can do is you can come up here and peek this and then teleport back here. And they might think like, oh, he's in heaven, let's go site. But then you're down on site, and you know, you're right there. Also on this one underneath, you can actually play behind this box as well. This box normally is good for 2. I would always recommend someone hide behind this box at least 1 round in the game. I'll always hide behind this box, because you will often just get people for free. You can get 2 kills from here, but more so than that, obviously, normally it's kind of a get 2 kills, maybe get 1 kill and die. Whereas with Chamber, it would be, in this scenario, get 2 kills maybe and live. Which obviously is just amazing if that can happen. So yeah, a lot of good angles to play with this. Again, you can be aggressive. Again, you'll be teleporting to relatively safe locations. As I said, using your trademarks as well to help you know whether they're safe will be something that could be used in your advantage. And I think that, again, these are some good angles to peek. And, you know, you can come down here and be all aggressive. And I just love being aggressive with Chamber and getting out and living. And I think that, you know, instead of just having one safe, you know, one aggressive all the time, that these are more kind of like, maybe both can be aggressive. You know, what if I played just aggressive all the time, and I really like that, and I think I hope you enjoyed it as well. But that was just my advice. Don't do this every single round, but it can be something that you can think about and use in your toolbox with chamber. And I hope you enjoyed it, and have a really nice day.